in Turkey with the Secretary of the State and the Vice President on the ground. A lot of developments here and abroad. Brett, we'll see you tonight. Special report, 6 p.m. Appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Marc Thiessen now is a bit of analysis. Columnist, Washington Post, Fox News contributor. Marc, good morning to you. You're watching all this back and forth. What would you expect from Pence/Pompeo in a moment here? What do you believe?
Hopefully the economic pressure that the president is bringing to bear on Turkey and the threats of more will have some impact. But look, this is a mess of the Trump administration's own creation. They gave Erdogan the green light to go ahead. He would not have gone into Turkey if we had not done that. And what's happening now is the president said, what does it have to do with the United States? It has to do with the United States because ISIS is not defeated. They've been removed from their physical caliphate, but they have tens of thousands of fighters, hundreds of millions of dollars in money, and they remain a dangerous threat. Unless we want to send thousands of American troops to fight them, we need proxies to do the fighting on the ground, and that's what the Kurds did. They lost 11,000 casualties in the fight against ISIS. We had 6 military casualties and 2 civilian casualties in the fight against the Islamic State Caliphate. So we need them, but we need them to keep America's boot on the necks of ISIS so that they don't rise up like they did under Obama in Iraq. But right now, the Kurds are not more focused on ISIS. They are focused on defending themselves against Turkey. And then you have Turkey, which actually helped ISIS in the fight against the Kurds, was allying with ISIS, and Turkey just bombed a guard post of one of the prisons where all the high-value detainees were, allowing them to go free. So Turkey is actually helping ISIS escape and threaten America, and that should be unacceptable to the United States or the President of the United States.
Did you hear Hogan Gidley last hour here in our program? He was making the case that there's a residual force in the area that if they want to reverse some of these decisions, it would not be out of the question. Your feeling on that?
I hope they do reverse some of these decisions. They're mildly catastrophic. And look, the president keeps talking about, we got to stop fighting these endless wars. I'm sorry, but that's a canard. With the days when we had hundreds of thousands of American troops stationed in the Middle East fighting terrorists are long, long gone. We had 1,000 troops in Syria. We have 14,000 troops in Afghanistan. We have about 5,000 troops in Iraq. That's a total of 20,000 troops. We have 133,000 troops in Germany, Japan, Italy, and South Korea. So this is a very, very small commitment, and those troops that we have deployed in those countries, they're not doing the fighting. What they're doing is arming and training indigenous forces, proxy forces, to do the fighting for us and giving them intelligence, fire support, and other force multipliers. They can't beat our enemies without that, but our strategy should not be to be everywhere fighting the enemy. Our strategy should be helping indigenous forces fight the enemy, but they can't do it without us. And pulling our troops out is not going to stop endless wars. It's going to extend them and make it more likely that we have to send. I mean, the president just had to send troops to Saudi Arabia because of the Iranian threat. So we need to help.
Yeah, Marc, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. Just
no, it's okay.
Mike Pence comes up in a moment. Mike Pompeo said we'll bring those comments to our viewers when they become available. Thank you, Marc, for that. In Washington, Sandra.
Thank you.
We are awaiting that news conference from Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Turkey. It follows his meeting with President Erdogan. We are going to bring you that live when it happens.